Hi everyone, welcome to Techrides. I'm really excited today to be with Leigh-Kathryn Bonner, the CEO and founder of Be Downtown. And actually I was going to say what Be Downtown is, but why don't you explain it, because I think you'll do a much better job.
At Be Downtown, we install and maintain beehives on corporate campuses, and we use those hives to facilitate year-round employee engagement and leadership development programming. So we have hives in North Carolina and now in Atlanta, Georgia.
That's really fascinating. We're here at the Georgia World Congress Center, and I want to thank them for letting us film here today. But you've got beehives all around the city now, some pretty major companies like AT&T, Invesco, my old company ICE. Where else? Tell me where else.
Georgia Power, Chick-fil-A, Intercontinental Exchange, AT&T. So we've got a lot of companies that all came together, Ponce City Market, that all came together to try to help rebuild honeybees within the city.
Right. Well, this is really cool. I love this idea. We're going to talk so much more about it when we get in the car, but go for the ride. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about these bees right here. So I've got a few questions just about, so we've got 3 boxes right there. Are these 3 separate hives, or is this one hive?
3 different hives.
3 different
One queen in each one.
One queen in each one. Okay, that's how you tell the hive. So why 3?
We like to have 3 because we want to be able to use the hives to help other hives. So if one hive on the far left isn't as strong as the hive in the middle, we can share resources. So it gives us the ability to understand which hives are doing well and not. We can share resources. And the bees, they're kind of like trees. They work off of each other. So we like to have 3 in an area, and it gives companies enough honey. It's great for the agricultural environment of the city, and it gives you something to look at as well.
Right. And how many bees are in each hive?
This time of year, so in the summer, you're at peak capacity, so there's about 50,000 bees in each of these
50,000?
50,000. The queen lays around 1,500 eggs a day.
Wow, a day?
A day,
okay.
Yeah. She's busy.
So there's one queen, and did I read that you mark the bees, or you color the bees to identify the queen, or the queen bee?
Yes, so we mark the queen, and worldwide there's a coloring system. So this year you mark the queen with basically a paint pen, and she's bright green this year. So for the year that ends in 9, and that's how we can know how old a queen is.
How do you even get the queens to color her?
Yeah, we pick her up and we put her in a little container, and we hold her kind of tight to the back end of the container, and we press her with the paint pen.
Okay.
So they're hardier than you think they are, but you do have to be careful. You don't want to hurt the queen.
Are we going to be able to see the queen later?
Potentially. She's probably hard to find. It's like looking for a needle in a moving needle stack that's just barely bigger than the rest of the bees.
Okay. So 50,000 bees in each hive, and what kind of radius do they cover? Because their whole mission is to go around and pollinate all the flowers and plants. What are they doing?
So the bees fly within a 3 to 5 mile radius, typically 3 if there's enough floral sources. So that's 18,000 acres of surrounding community that these hives, from the minute they go in, start to positively impact.
Okay, and they're also creating honey in there, right?
They are. So all of the boxes at the top, those are all honey supers. We're about to pull all of the honey. We'll extract the honey, give it to the companies at Georgia World Congress Center. We're going to work with their chef, and we'll get the honey tested for the floral sources, and we'll pair the type of honey in the floral source with foods that will match well with the honey flavor.
And how much honey will they produce?
It's all up to Mother Nature. So on average, we say about 30 to 50 pounds in a city. They can produce over 100 pounds of honey in a couple months, but one honeybee by herself makes 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey in her whole life.
Wow, okay. And how much is that one honeybee? How long she live, or she live?
She, about 6 to 8 weeks, and then she literally works herself to death. Her wings start to break down, and that's why the queen's laying so many eggs a day, because their life cycle this time of year is pretty short.
Okay, and they all have different roles and jobs that they do in there?
They do. There's job designation to the day. So the time they turn a different age, they'll move to the day to the next role. So there's guard bees that are protecting the hive. There's nurse bees taking care of the baby bees. There are undertaker bees that pull bees that were at the end of their life cycle that died in the hive out to the ground to keep their hive clean. So they all have different jobs.
One of the things you do at Be Downtown is you use the way bees work together as part of your corporate training and development program, right?
Yes, absolutely. So an example of that is, all the bees have their own job descriptions and their own roles in the hive, but they're all working together for the good of the hive. And it's not necessarily trust like we would think about as humans, but when we look at that in comparison to a team, the core fundamentals of leadership, self-awareness, trust, high-performance teams, and culture, well, that trust fits in with the beehive very well. The hive is all working together. They're not micromanaging. They're not double checking each other's work. They know that they're each bringing their best self every day to get the job done.
Cool, cool. So have you ever ridden in a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon?
No, and honestly, I am a Jeep girl, and I tried to convince my parents to let me have a Jeep Wrangler, and they said no. So I've got a Liberty, but it has always been my dream to have a Jeep Wrangler, so I'm very excited.
We've got a really cool one today for our ride, and I'm excited because I've never ridden one. I get to drive it, but we're gonna have a few guests with us, right? You're gonna take some of the bees with us on our ride, right?
It's not fair for me to get to experience the Jeep and not the bees, so we're gonna pack some up and bring them in the back of the Jeep.
How many are you gonna pack up?
Probably around 1,000, 2,000. So we might have more bodies in the car than people would expect.
Okay, cool. Well, let's go. Let's get them.
Awesome. So you'll hear cracking when I open this, and it's propolis. So the bees bring back tree sap to the hive, and that's how they glue their hive together.
So that smoke calms them down?
It evokes a natural reaction to a forest fire. So they start gorging themselves on honey because they think they might have to leave. So it helps keep them calm in the sense of it masks their alarm pheromone. So if a bee starts letting off the alarm pheromone, it masks it. But
it makes them think, oh crap, we gotta like get in here and get all the honey we can.
And so it keeps them busy, but then if a bee gets mad, it masks the pheromone of them being mad as well. Right. So these are the honey supers, so there's no eggs in here. But this is all pure honey. So if you want to stick your finger straight into there and taste the honey.
Yep.
Yeah. Just press all the way into it.
Oh, okay, wow, that's cool.
Ah, fail. And they immediately just start eating the honey.
Oh wow,
and they'll fix it.
That's delicious.
Isn't that cool?
So are they eating or fixing or both?
Both. So if you want to hold it, you can feel the weight of honey. Honey weight is double water weight, about.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So you can feel how much weight is in the honey.
Yeah.
So 5 gallons of honey doesn't go as far as 5 gallons of water would, just because of the weight of it.
That is really cool. I want some more of that honey.
It's good, right?
It's really good, yeah. How do they actually produce the honey? Like what's happening in that process?
They're going to nectar and floral sources, and they're just simply dehydrating it. They're bringing small bits of pollen into it as well. But
where does it come? It comes out of their body or something?
They have 2 stomachs. So they have a normal stomach that's connected to their digestive system, and then they have a secondary stomach that's just to store nectar. So it's really just like a shopping bag, and it's not connected to the digestive system at all, and they regurgitate it into the cells. Okay. They're, but you can see them right here. They're all eating it.
Yeah.
And they'll fix that really soon.
I want some more.
Yeah. You can hear how much louder they get.
Yeah. That kind of stirred them up a little. I guess they're kind of.
They move down.
They're going down.
So it helps make sure that we just don't have a ton of bees in these boxes. This is
so it's like a multi-level house. Every level is.
Yeah, this is the maternity. These 2 boxes are the maternity ward. It's where the queen's laying eggs. There's baby bees developing. There's pollen and nectar.
Wow, there's a lot there.
Yep. So see all those different colors?
Yeah.
That's all pollen.
Oh, okay.
And you can see the sumac's been blooming, so you can see how much darker this honey is. If you taste this honey, it's completely different than the one you just tasted.
Really? Okay.
What we'll do when we do honey tastings is we bring all different types of honey so that people can learn about what honeys they like and don't like, and
so
their
is that
flavor
honey
profiles.
like is it older or newer? Like
it's just lighter honey comes in the spring, darker honey comes in the fall. So it's not necessarily older or newer. It's just a different, different honey. But you can see all these are spaced out the same distance. If I didn't put this frame back in and I moved it over to one of these hives, they would build beeswax right here to keep the space the same.
Okay.
Because they have something called bee space, which is 3/8 of an inch. It's the most efficient use of space you can have in the beehive. So when we pull the honey, we'll pull these boxes, these honey boxes off. And that's it.
That's awesome.
Pretty easy.
All right.
Not a hive check, but it's easy to go in and grab some bees.
Well, you got our riders now.
Yes.